I've got the spores, the sickness. There's the twins in my brain.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the Domestique Cycling Podcast. Today it is a pleasure to be joined by my fellow domestique Bram to review an exciting open weekend ahead in Belgium with Omloop at Nieuwsblad and Kuurne-Brussels-Kuurne coming up. How are you feeling about that, Bram?
I'm really excited. Cycling is back, or at least the World Tour is back in Europe. That's a pretty special weekend every year, especially for a Belgian like myself. So that's something to look forward to. And honestly, it just kicks off the whole spring campaign. That's my favorite part of the year. So I'm happy.
Yeah, when this race comes around, then all the cycling season just flies through, I think, really, in my opinion. The off-season, I think, this off-season particularly went very fast, in my opinion, but I don't know how it felt for you.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of just feels like the Vuelta wasn't super long ago, but it's been a while. It's been almost 6 months. That was also the last time I was on the podcast. So, time flies, but it's been an interesting offseason, and we've not created that much content within the offseason. Sorry for our audience. But we're here now. It's opening weekend, so let's do it.
Yeah, for the viewers as well, the founders have been working hard behind the scenes on creating a new project, which you probably see in our social media channels, where we are co-creating the ultimate cycling platform where you guys can join in and create content as well, and view content and engage with it. And if you haven't already, make sure to donate or invest on www.domestiquecycling.com, where we've already raised 135,000 euros. Haven't we, Bram?
Yeah, it's been going super well. Honestly, it's been amazing seeing all of the reactions of both the fans, creators, and potential investors and investors that lock in. So, very exciting developments in the cycling media landscape.
It's testament to the hard work of the founders, Hannes and Youth, and also the agency of On Your Marks, they've been putting in some shit behind the scenes.
Definitely, and also just awesome work. But I think we're beating the domestic chess a little bit too hard here. But honestly, it's also super enjoyable seeing this project launch after all this work.
But yeah, let's go straight into it with Omloop on this coming Saturday. The amount of people that can probably win the race is pretty crazy, I'll be honest. The amount of situations that can happen in this race is always one to watch out for. What do you think is the most likely?
On the course that it is now, small group or a reduced group going to the line, like I think like 10 to 15 people going to the line, kind of like how you had, well, except for Tretnik and Polet last year. If those guys hadn't run away, you would have had a pretty good sprint with a reduced peloton. I think that's something that you could see again. But, tactics, Group 2 syndrome can all play in, and you can also see a similar layout from last year.
The weather as well. We're not going to be getting any rain, I think. But yeah, there's still going to be bitterly cold, just hovering around above freezing, I think around 1 to 2 degrees. 3 degrees.
Yeah, at the start it's going to be quite cold. The early day should be 5 to 7. Not too sunny. Good Belgian weather.
Typical British and Belgian weather, I think. I think they go hand in hand with each other, don't they? So yeah, they're going to have to warm themselves up, let's say, the cyclists today. On Saturday. Let's start with the team order as well now. We're going to start off with Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe. Where there's a surprise here. There's no Piffy, which is, I would not have expected that. Would you?
Considering what he did last year for Groupama in the opening weekend, I definitely expected him to be here, but it does look like Red Bull has different plans for him, or maybe he has an injury that we don't know about. I haven't seen any news related to that. But of course, Red Bull does have a pretty good team as well without Piffy. definitely. But it is odd not seeing him. Curious what the rest of the season is going to look like if he's skipping this race.
Obviously, he was in the Tour Down Under. I was watching that. I know there was a bit of controversy involved with him, some of the sprints, but yeah, I would have liked to have seen him in a reduced sponge sprint in that because it would have been for some sight to watch. I think. Let's have a look at as well. Again, at Red Bull, else do we think we see there who could have a good chance?
I mean, you have Lascano and
Let's start.
Maze. I think also you have the winner from last year. So and you have in Roger Adria, who I don't know how far he can survive, but if he does go into that group sprint, he's not slow either. But they have a lot of cards to play out. Like even the Van Dijk twins.
Well, that's a great card for them to play, especially considering they're basically emergency stepping in it in Paris-Roubaix, where they came in there and did a very good performance. But yeah, Mayers, I'm no Dieter particularly likes him or not. Obviously, he technically won in Algarve technically on that sprint, which was not a sprint. I don't know what happened there. But yeah, if
I mean, he didn't win. He didn't cross the line.
well, technically he gets a win technically in that sense. But yeah, he's
that was Ghana's win.
taken away from him. But yeah, the cards that they can play there is pretty great, isn't it? Let's be honest. But yeah, on to Visma Lisa bike, where now, there's the young gun Matthew Brennan there as to start off with. Potentially. But yeah,
I think it's going to be a little bit too hard of a race for him, but
yeah,
he can prove me wrong.
Yeah.
But just building up experience within that team that you have Wout van Aert, Tiesj Benoit, Victor Kampenaerts, even Eduardo Affini. Those are guys who've ridden these classics for many years. And you have the young guys with Matthew Brennan, Per Santaganes, and Matthew Brennan that bring in the youth and also bring in a lot of talent. Like this is super talented squad.
It's a very good balanced squad, I think, as well. Jorgensen as well. If I was to pick anyone to win, I'd probably like a bet. I'll probably take Jorgensen. In honesty, I really like his chances in this race. Seriously, like
it's always interesting with Jorgensen. Like, is he GC mode? Is he classics mode? Or the guy could do both. He's like an American Pogacar, a little bit on a different level. But the fact that he can just do both so well, like he could just fly up the Muur van Gerardsbergen and like do super well.
Even Bertrand Agnes as well. Bertrand Agnes is not to be underrated in that team at all, really, I think, as well. Very, 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 very good classics rider, I think.
And only 21 years old. Like it's one of those guys that you can easily forget about. But like just considering his youth performances and did he get a win last year or was that the year before even?
Was it the German race?
Oh, could have been. No, the Münsterland Giro where he forgot that, like he didn't realize I had won. He thought there was another lap to go. So the guy has a big engine. So for races like Omloop, perfect.
Yeah, this is similar to like Abrahamson, really. I think as well. Just massive Norwegian engine to just keep going and going and going like diesel in them. But yeah, Wout van Aert. I know that many people are definitely going to be picking him as the number one favorite. I know someone in Domestique will be putting him as his number one favorite. His time trial the other day probably suggests that he is in some great form. Other than the sprints, obviously, I think he's saving himself. Let's be honest, more than any danger.
Yeah, I think he sort of kept it safe. But of course, in sprints, there is some luck involved in where gaps are opening up. But I think the TT showed like that he's building form really well. In particular on that course in the Algarve,
Bram,
quite a
Yeah.
quite a ramp, and then only having Vingegaard ahead of you, and then a lot of other really good TT riders and climbers behind you. Like, I think he's building form really well.
Building form for the goals in upcoming spring. And proof. I would love to see him recreate some Tour de France magic rather than not, because it is, as a fan, it's some of the best you could probably see. It's just crazy stuff what you can do. But yeah, moving
Of
on.
course, he's also going to the Giro, so you don't know
Yeah,
how well he's going to go at the Tour.
this year, I don't know. I would skip it if I was him, but I just think it's too dangerous sometimes, in some sense, with the weather and stuff. You just completely mess yourself up.
Probably.
Yeah, moving on to Alpes in the Kuurne, where they have Philipsen, De Lie, Reis, Kenan Groves, Maurice, Rijsbeek, Vermeersch. That is Philipsen as the leader, probably say. I hope would say.
Yeah, I would say that he's the leader in that team for sure, especially on the course at how it is now. And Philipsen has, in the past 2 years, has definitely built himself more into the classics guy instead of just the pure sprinter that I think he was like 3 years ago. So very kind of seen in, I think, a UA tour that the kick that he has, like, it feels like it's very early to make conclusions about that, but that it's dulled down a little bit. But maybe that is traded with better performance in the classics. That's something that you often see.
Yeah, but I mean, also it's about peaking his fitness, isn't it, as well? What is he going to be heading into in his terms of his fitness into this race, as the goals ahead, as such as Milan San Remo, obviously. Paris-Roubaix, he's done very well there before, and obviously future Grand Tour goals down the line. So yeah, I don't know. He's gonna have to reduce bunch in it really, and just pray and hang on the Bosberg and Mur before.
Yeah, it's definitely a guy who just has to follow and pray that it's a group sprint. I don't think we're going to see Jasper Philipsen attacking on any of the hills, but I mean, he could, but I don't think he will.
Hayden Groves in terms of his fatigue resistance, and I don't know, that's a potential one to watch out for.
He's a survivor. Like, he's
Just hangs
the
in
definitive
about.
tough stage Grand Tour sprinter. And Omloop can be that as well, where it's just survival, and then 200 meters from the line, come out and sprint. Groves and Philipsen within the same team, that I think is an interesting combination. Very curious how that plays out.
Sneak Groves up the road or something like that, and that would play out well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but now going on to Intermarché 1T, where they have Biniam Girmay, Wout van Aert, Hugh Page, Adrian Petit, Lawrence Rex, Jonas Rutsch, and Robert van Sint Maartensdijk. That is a very good classics team, in my opinion. Would you also say? Because there's some proper strongmen in there, especially Lawrence Rex and Girmay.
Yeah, Lawrence Rex went really well last year, and honestly the year before that as well. He crashed a couple of times in the classics campaign last year, and so did Girmay. So hopefully those guys can stay upright. Fingers crossed, touching wood and all that. But yeah, super strong team. You have Hugo Page there as well, Adrien Petit. Those guys can make the race hard when needed.
Hugo Page is a definite. Hugo Page, if he escaped on the road, he's like, I think there's a little bit of untapped potential, really. I think, and Girmay as well. Girmay is. I hope it does well, because it's some scenes in it when it does well. Bloody hell, it's crazy.
It would go really well on social media.
Yeah, really well. And I'm interested to see what he actually can do in this race.
I mean, he should be good here. He's shown that he has the interest in these types of classics. And I mean, he has the capabilities to do well here. Super fast sprinter, and that can survive quite a few climbs. So should be good.
Going on to Soudal Quickstep with Lampard, Cataneo, Aenkorn, Helders, Paul Magnier, Casper Pedersen, and Dries van Gestel. I know we're going to be talking probably a lot about the one man in there. We all know who you're going to also probably mention as well, Magnier. Dieter is obsessed with Magnier and basically is just a unit, isn't he, really? And I think he could definitely do well in terms of the profile that he is. And then you have the tractor, Heath Lampard as well, and Aenkorn on his new team as well. That's a well-rounded team again. And we're saying a lot, it's a well-rounded teams, but it definitely are well-rounded teams.
I mean, it's a team with a lot of rulers, so keeping things together or ripping things apart. And you have Magnier who can finish this off. I would say the one downside with this team is that I think only Magnier has the ability to win this race in a regular fight, where the rest, like, this is a team that can't play multiple cards properly. I think everything's on Magnier.
This Bader's got to be very good to the Fuego, isn't it? But just hammer it, I think, really, and just try and create chaos But if it came down to a reduced punch, so even Magnier could probably smash everyone there. His Watts is just crazy.
I mean, there are some proper good sprinters in the rest of this field. So, but yeah, his Watts are crazy. He's massively talented. It's just when it comes to Soudal Quickstep, the tactic seems very one-sided, compared to olden times, but that you can not always compare to that, of course, since it's a different team than what it used to be, but still they could win it with Magnier.
Suffering from success of Remco, let's say, put it like that.
He actually went along with the recon today. Remco did.
Yeah, Remco is going to be back soon, and I'm sure he's going to be I can't wait for it. I know you can't as well, being a Remco ultra.
He's going to smash it.
Yeah, that's great to see as well, and recovering very quickly, I'd say as well. After that could have been a lot worse, that accident he had in, was it December? End of December?
Something like that.
Yeah.
But, less TikToks, more racing from Remco. It's good.
Yeah. And moving on to Arkea B&B Hotels, where they have Beermans, Capio, Grondin, Ipis, Scottson, Seneschal, and Thierry. I don't know who the leader would be there. Probably Capio or Seneschal. Beerman is also not that bad. Ipis, I've seen him during the Tour Down Under. He did some slight attacks, and that was about it. Scottson as well. So yeah, it's a bit of a...
It's a typical Arkea team. They're going to try and farm points at sprint, probably with Beermans, Capio, and Seneschal all sprinting at the same time. Scottson may be in there as well, just to get as much points as they can.
That's what you got to do in this modern day in the UCI system. So yeah, moving on to Bahrain Victorious, where many people are going to be betting on probably Maric again. They have Ermakov, Govakar, a good sprinter, Gradek. I think, was he the one who did that flipping thing in, was it the Ronda? Where he did no, it was Mashuk, that was other Polish one, wasn't it? Where he took out the peloton like a bone.
Yeah, that was Mashuk.
Yeah. Then you have Andrea Pascudon, Robert Stannard, and Fred Wright. Fred Wright and Maric. I think that's two good people really for this race. Fred Wright as well, getting into some form. Maric, it's an enigma, I'd say. Would you call it an enigma as well, because you don't know what wants to turn up?
I have no idea how he's going. I would put more on Fred Wright. But I don't play the risky bets. I don't bet. But yeah, Fred Wright to me is a bigger card to play there.
Yeah, Fred Wright as well is needs to go back to his 22 form, man, where he got 2 seconds in Grand Tour stages, I think. If I remember, Tour de France and Vuelta, yeah, it was.
In the Vuelta, he was doing really well, until he knocked out.
Yeah, and Fred Wright as well. got a podium on stage 2 of the Tour de Provence. So yeah, Fred Wright getting into some form. I hope as a British cycling fan as well, he can definitely deliver some party time for the Brits. So yeah, what do you think there?
I mean, yeah, I just completely agree with you. The rest of the team, Govichar is good. Can you survive the tough climbs at the pace that those top teams can set? I have my doubts. So yeah, I think they're just having to lean on Mohoric and hope he's good. And Fred Wright, who, from what he was doing at Tour de la Provence, is looking like he's doing well. So
yeah, and now we're going to move on to Cofidis, where this team is. I like the look of it, really. I think as well. Obviously, the new transfer Dylan Teuns from Israel Premier Tech, which is gone under the radar. I think, really, in my opinion, Alligator, my Dutch or French is completely gone. Brian Cacard, fresh on winning a Tour Down Under stage, where he was very dominant in that, I think, in that sprint. I need the Ghent, Alexis Renard, Ludovic Robert, and Nolan Muhudo. So yeah, and that's probably all in on Tons, isn't it, really? And then if it's a reduced bunch, go for the cock.
yeah, I mean, you're right. I always question how much of a team that Dylan Teuns needs. He kind of always writes like a one-man team within a team.
Solo man, yeah.
But yeah, with Kokar, with Oligart, you do have guys who can just get good placements. But Teuns is like he was doing. What race was he doing? Was it Bessèges? He was doing some pretty crazy stuff there.
Yeah, he's a
attack from
wasn't he? Yeah. Very
Yeah.
good.
and that was really strong.
Yeah, so yeah, that's would you say he's an underdog for you?
I think he's underrated for this race. So yeah, I would consider him an underdog.
Yeah, and then for this some ECI points. Ooh, great to see. Yeah, moving on to the Decathlon AG2R Le Mondial, where you have Oliver Naesen, Bissinger, new transfer from where was it? EF, wasn't it? Yeah. Dries de Bont, Sander Puttepestel, Stan de Wolf, Rasmus Pedersen, and Jean-Luc Polifiette. So yeah, the leader there.
They get more and more Belgians every year.
They're invading, isn't it?
And then you also have Stefan Bissiger, who I just found out did a transfer to Decathlon. I had not heard this news.
There's very many there's transfers that you're like, when did that happen? And I've just seen even Teuns has gone very under the radar, I think, in terms of the transfer. So yeah.
Oh no way! I did see him in there, and you also thought there that wait, what? That's a weird kit for him. Anyway, it's a team that I don't know. Like, is Oliver Naesen gonna do something?
Be the leader in it for them, like really. It's 2025.
Yeah.
So Oliver Naesen, I don't know,
He's 34. So I think Bissiger probably has more chance, but like I don't.
Dries de Bont as well, though. Really, that's a fresh addition there.
That's true. Like Dries de Bont is just an agent of chaos, where he can either go in the breakaway and then stay away for a long time, but for him to win this race, I don't think so.
The Danish champion as well, and the Rasmus Pedersen as well. I mean, he's been promoted obviously this year. I'm not really sure. I've not really seen much of him other than the Danish National Champ race. So yeah, that's going to be quite a mixed team. Polyfic, he can kind of a sprint, really, I think, as well, in terms of like a reduced bunch.
Probably.
I'm remembering it from Pro Cycling Manager again. I think obviously I'm going to give a shout out to the database. It's genuinely, you think of it like that, and it's pretty much bang on. If I remember, he can kind of sprint. So yeah, that team is just a bit. At the end of the day, it's just let's give it the mid tag. I think.
Yeah, I mean, last year they kind of surprised everyone because of the step up that they did. For now, this team doesn't excite me for this race.
Just they came flying out of the box in 2024, but not now already. I think. But yeah, moving on to EF Education Easy Post, where this team is very, very good. What I'm going to be mentioning here is Casper Askren, new transfer. Albanese, that's a new transfer again. Oendu, Honore, Mikkels, new transfer. The Mikkels is poor fat. That's the one to watch, I think, again. Vandenberg, and then Valgren. That's Danish takeover already, VF again.
Yeah, you have a former Ronde van Vlaanderen winner there, so if you can win the Ronde, you can probably also win Omloop. But do we know how good Asgreen is doing? Not really. Like he rode the Vuelta of Algarve, and the Fugger Champions Classic where he got 20th. That doesn't really say anything about him. I also didn't really notice him during those races. Mikkels is gonna be one to watch. But in general, like there's a lot of cards to play in this race again for just chaos, and then sort of just hoping that they have the numbers at the end. And yeah, just I think we'll just see a very attacking race by EF because we know that's what they love to do. That's their entire strategy: attack.
The type of profiles they have there, though, already have Mikkels, Vandenberg, and Albanese. They're all three very similar riders in terms of that. I think that's just what they can do there is you can do some nice
but
tactics.
Mikkels is also more than a sprinter like Vandenberg and Albanese, where I think in Roubaix where he went along, like there's more to him than just a sprint.
Yeah, he's definitely. We're gonna give him the dog tag. I think he deserves to have it. Minus Mikkels. I know also from the European Championship. I think he got P3, didn't he, in the sprint? He did, yeah, he did. I remember. I should probably remember that because I was at the race. So yeah, he did get that.
How many years you had at that point?
I was clean on like Dieter. So yeah, moving on to Groupama FDJ, and this team is. And that's what I'm going to say it like that. Kung, Aski, Christian, Davi, Jacobs, Lagak, and Russo. Kung's form is all over the place, in my opinion. But Aski, on the other hand, Aski is, I think, a little bit. Bistrom, it's old. Davi, Jacobs, he's always the one in Paris-Roubaix that you like. He's a little bit of a wild card, I think, in terms of sense. But an Omloop, could he recreate that, you think?
Yeah, I like Jacobs is an interesting call indeed for a race like Roubaix. For this, I think the pace up the hills is probably going to be a bit too strong for him. Kung is probably the guy to watch. But yeah, he's entering a phase in his career where it's kind of starting to be make or break, very similar to someone like Van Aert, although Van Aert has won more classic races. Yeah, how are we gonna remember Stefan Kung at the end of his career? Is he a classics rider as well as a time trialist? At the moment he's a time trialist and not really a classics winner. So if he wants to add that, then he needs to start winning some of these races.
Yeah, definitely. Then now I'm going to go on to Ineos Grenadiers, where his team is, people would give him disrespect, but they've had a nice start for the season. Obviously, Gannett, that is win taken away. Some nice attacks in Tour Down Under. obviously freed from the Pidcock drama. That was creating unnecessary drama, in my opinion. We had a team of Jungles who transferred Hajduk, Schmidt, Swift, Turner, and Watson. Who would you say is the leader there? In my opinion, it's probably Turner, obviously. Dejan.
Probably Turner, but they could do well.
Very
I think,
interesting.
was it Dwars of Vlaanderen last year where
Yeah.
he did really well, like just refused to die, refused to drop. So Watson is an interesting one as well, that I kind of want to see how he develops within Ineos after his years at Groupama. I think that's one of those, I'm interested how they're going to play that. But yeah, Turner is probably the guy here. How he's going, he's had a second place in the Ruta del Sol. So, and
Yeah,
11th place at Jaén. So
to the line by Christoph on that in that Ruta del Sol thing. So yeah, the king.
worst people to lose against.
Exactly. Yeah, it could be a good omen, a classics era, really, I think, for Turner. Can he recreate that? Let's see. Well, yeah, moving on to Little Trek, where this team, that is blown away, I think, in that team. That is a really, really good team, I think. Stuyven, De Klerk, Hoel, Turns, Edward Turns, that is, Tom Scoins, Vasek, and Tim Thorn Tutenberg, the Neo Pro. That's it.
It's a very strong team.
Added 5 hours ago, Tim Thorn Tutenberg. He must be in some form, really, I think. Obviously, he did well.
I mean, he's on really good form. He was also doing well on the track. But just considering this team and the riders they're bringing, like they're leaving out of their classics team for now. Like Pedersen's not here. Milan is not here. Even Thibaut Nets could do well here. They're all not here. So it's just crazy to consider how strong this team has gotten. They're going to be at the front pretty much all day.
Who would you say is the leader in that team? With his form this season, I'm going to pick Vasek. If I was the DS in the car, I'd pick Vasek. He did very well in, what was it? The Valenciana, where he was fighting on the climb. But even with an injured shoulder, Champions Classic, P3, and Algarve, respectable finishes there, I think, in my opinion. But yeah,
Vasek definitely. Squinch, if he has his form from last year, which I don't see a reason why he wouldn't. And Steven, you can't go against him either. So
that's a proper Hannes thing, isn't it, man? Where I know he's a big Stuyven fan.
How can you not be a Stuyven fan?
Just a warrior, isn't he? Really, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah, moving on to Movistar, where this is also again a very interesting team, in my opinion. We got Garcia Cortina, Aula, new transfer from Kaya Ruhao, John Baron, I can't say his name, Baron H, yeah, something like that. It's very hard to pronounce that name. I'm sorry if I butchered it. But yeah, he won the other day, didn't he, ahead of Tobias in stage 5, just in front of Gibraltar, I think, as well, where he moved across in terms of many.
Ooh, he did, yeah. Yep.
And that was, I'm not going to mention much about that. Similai, Malaysi, Amoro, and Nosgard. What do you think of that team, Bram?
A good team. Garcia Cortina could do well. Milesi in the classics is going to be interesting. Other than that, I mean, I'm not super hyped, but it's Movistar in the classics. It's sometimes difficult to be hyped for them. But they have Jurgen Roelands in the car, very experienced rider on Belgian roads, so they're gonna have proper directions and proper racecraft going on.
And now going over to the Aussies of Jacob Alula with Robert Donaldson, Foldager, Kryson, O'Brien, Reinders, Stewart, and Suterlin. That is
I think it's a mixed bag, to be honest.
I think I'd say anonymous really. Who would the leader be in that? I'd say Kryson, probably. Did you say?
You could, like, O'Brien isn't bad. Like, he was 7th in Dwars Door in 2022. But like as a leader, I think he's hard to assign. Yeah, it's not an exciting game in my opinion.
Not very exciting, but still, you never know what could happen in cycling these days. Yeah, moving on to Team Picnic Post NL with Degenkolb, the legend, Edmondson, Flynn, Elias, Neighborman, Rusin, and Julius Vandenberg. Probably that's all in for Degenkolb, really, isn't it? Really, I think. What do you say?
Probably. I wonder how well he's going. He's 36. Has a contract for another year for 20, like next year as well. Curious if he can recreate his Roubaix story from last year or 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
2 years. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the rest of the team, like Sean Flynn can do well, but also like except for Degenkolb, I think most of this is going to be quite anonymous.
Yeah. Now going on to probably the super team of the race, I'd say, and the super team in cycling in general, UAE Team Emirates XRG, because bloody hell, that's all I have to say to it. Pollitt, Morgado, Bjerg, Hurrigots, Narvaez, Vermesh, Wellens. Like, oof.
And they keep buying Belgians, and they're making their classics team stronger. There's a lot of rulers in this. They're missing the big man for the other classics, but you know, Morgado can win this, Narvaez can win this, Wellens can win this, Vermeers on a good day can win this, Pollitt can win this. Hannibal and Bjerg are more difficult, but with a crazy story can happen. So
never know.
Insane squad.
If that's like that's probably the team, isn't it? Really, as well for Pogacar as well in the classics coming up. Apart from who would you even take out for that? That's to take out Hurrigots probably. If it was Pogacar there,
he can control the race really well. He has that. That's a key effort.
Morgado as well. And it is in the Algarve. Bloody wow, just crazy.
That was insane.
Like the way he's going now, he's not even reached his full potential, which is mad.
I mean, last year was already insane. Was it in Le Samar, which he won?
Yeah.
So I think he's gonna have a step up again this year. It's gonna. I think it's gonna be really impressive what he's gonna be able to do this year.
Yeah, really impressive. And then you have the Mr. White Teeth, like your new teeth, Bram, nose Pollitt. That's Wellens, you'd say maybe as a lead in terms of sense, but then Narvaez as well. And you can pick. I can't pick. I'm not going to pick. Are you going to pick?
I think they're gonna go with the Trident strategy or whatever, and just send it with all of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but then I'm moving on to the team who was doing some almighty effort climbing out of the pit of UCI relegation of XDS Astana. They are putting in an almighty shift. They are really, really gently fighting back, and that's crazy to see, really. They put on a points farm already.
I mean, consider like they they lost Cavendish. Okay, Cavendish hasn't been a massive point scored over the past few years, or well, the fact that like they lost Cavendish and so we kind of lost a leader, but the rest of the team is just stepping up and just farming those points and also getting wins. It's not just like the Arkea strategy where okay, everyone sprints and if we get 4, 5, 6, it's fine. We got points. No, they're actually also going for wins and getting them. Which
Scaroni has
insane.
been flipping, going crazy. Scaroni in
I did not
France.
see that coming. No.
So yeah, but yeah, the team of Bannerini, Betio, that's interesting there. Betio, Seesbo, Gassioli, Romelli, Edith Schelling, and Mike Turnison as well, which again, crazy transfers.
They had a very good transfer season. I think in terms of transfer season, they've had one of the best of all teams. Just the amount of talent that they brought in, and you know, we just mentioned that they've had a super strong start of the season. I think there's their strong transfer policy is at the start of that.
Well, yeah, you get money, you can just do what you want, really, and money talks. But yeah, you have identified
Some Chinese
clear
money that came in.
weaknesses. Yeah, I have identified their clear weaknesses, which is great to see the team. Really, I think if you fix your weaknesses, then you become very strong. But yeah, moving on to Israel Premier Tech, where this team again is very interesting, in my opinion. Blackmore, Boyvan, Louvel, Bickrell, Sheehan, Stewart, and Van Asbrook. What do you think there, Bram?
Good team. Very curious about Blackmore in classics. Obviously, won the. And now I have to make sure that I have it right. That he won the Tour de l'Avenir. I think so. So the guy has massive amount of talent. The rest of the team, like a Pickrell, Stewart,
Even Sheehan is as good with fatigue
Yeah,
as it's
true.
a punishment. I think Dieter.
Didn't he have like a
Liverpool.
big crash in the classics last year that kind of took him out, or was that the year before?
It was one of them.
Oh no, he had a crash in Nieuwsblad, but recovered and still rode the rest of the classics. But
Yeah.
I thought he was kind of got taken out.
Louvain as well. Have I seen him do well before? Why am I? I'm not sure there. But yeah, moving on
I
to.
can't remember either. I can't remember either.
Moving on to Lotto, where obviously they have Arnaud De Lie, probably. It's either him or Wout for me as actual favourite with Jorgensen. I put Jorgensen just slightly behind those two. I couldn't pick between Wout and De Lie. Then you have Cedric Buttons, a great classic rider. Jasper De Voice again. Sebastian Grignard, Ian Livins, and Brent Van Moor. What do you think there? Because it's all obviously probably all in on De Lie, and then if you want to do an attack like a sneak,
There's a rider missing.
It was a rider missing, isn't it? They've not added the rider. Yeah. You're very well spotted. You need to update that from. Who would it be?
I have no clue. But honestly, in Lotto, it doesn't really matter. They're gonna play out De Lie to the max. It's gonna be interesting to see whether or not De Lie lets his team do the work, or if he's gonna go berserker mode and try and break the race open himself, like he's tried in the last 2 years, or try and close moves by himself. That's something that I think De Lie can work on. The race insight on those moments, the staying calm. But his, to me as well, like top 3 favorites.
Easily top 3. About maybe number 1. I'd say that it's so hard to pick. You couldn't pick. Yeah,
that's not our job. That's Dieter's job.
Yeah, Bullens as well. If they sneak him up the road, that would be nice because he's done well in races and breakaways before. Jean last year was one and he got poached. I remember that.
Yeah, I mean, just in general, like you have a couple of riders here that just if they get into a good move like a De Best or a Van Moos, they can also just cause chaos.
Going on again, we're nearly at the end of the teams list with Unuex Mobility, the best team there in the peloton. With engine.
Yeah, Dyrus is showing, Ethan.
No bias. Abramson, Hifdeberg, Hulgaard, Janssen, a new transfer, Rachel, Skarshev, and Tiller. It's a shame that there's one person who's not there in the race, but he's going into the next race we're going to talk about very shortly. So yeah, Abramson probably is the leader there, definitely. And then Hulgaard as well, but Hulgaard has had some great form in these past races, by the way. I don't know if you've caught up with that, with Hulgaard.
I'm gonna let you do a monologue on X. I think you're more qualified.
Hulgaard has had some great form and breakaways and fighting. Yeah, I can also just pack a little sprint, but yeah, Abramson, if he sneaks away, they're in trouble with the peloton, I think. If he gets away, good luck catching him. But then, if it's a reduced bunch, Tiller. Have you expected more from Tiller Reese in the past year? Because
I think he's had some unlucky moments.
Yeah.
But I think the team has sort of played out other cards of some rising talent. When you have an Abrahamson there who's clearly shown that he's a guy for these races. I think it just makes sense, but Tiller is still not to be underestimated.
Yeah. Did he win the Het Hagelin race? He did, didn't he? In 23.
Yeah, that's a very different type of race. That's a lot of gravel in there as well.
Just shows.
I think he won that on like a flat tire, basically.
Yeah. Now going over to the new team for Pidcock, 36.5 Pro Cycling Team, where he's joined with Fabio Christen, Frederick Friesen, Kimil Malesheki, Yannick Steimler, Rory Townsend, very good rider, Nicholas Zukowski. Pidcock there, he had some support with him, I think, in my opinion. Do you agree as well? That is actually some strong support. He has Friesen, strong man, Steimler, strong man. Townsend, also a very strong man.
These are all
Christen as well.
sort of coming out of the World Tour. And yeah, I mean, for the next few months, like if we're talking about Q36.5, we're going to be talking about Tom Pidcock. He's made himself the star of this team, and he's going well. Of course, not in the same level of races that he was racing at Ineos, but I think starting a win streak is good for the mental of them, and you just got to keep it rolling. Definitely a guy to just watch. It's going to be interesting to see how his classics form is without a cyclocross campaign in the legs. That's a completely different run-in for a season for Pidcock. So yeah, maybe and Matthew will learn, or the opposite, and say, okay, that shouldn't be done. Because it looks like Tom is in form very early, or maybe he's just getting started. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, it'd be nice to see him do well because he has taken some shit, hasn't he? Really, I think. Social media, obviously, particularly a bad place for most people with hate. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's not made it easy on himself either.
Obviously, yeah. So yeah, he just if you out, you got to take it, haven't you? Really, sometimes. Now we're on to the Belgian team again. Team Flanders Bawasi, where it's going to be breakaway, obviously. Coleman, a nice rider there. Yeah. But yeah, not much to talk about.
Veller's track rider.
Yeah.
Also a rider missing so far, but this is not a confirmed team yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see at least one of these guys in the breakaway, and if we don't, they'll have some very angry DSs.
Yeah, they'll be on the phone to them on the radio going, rah, screaming Hotverdomme. Now on to Tudor Pro Cycling team, where they're also on a fight here for the UCI points, where they've now brought Trentin, Runneboat, Kellerman, Krieger, Leonhardt. I think Leonhardt's a good cobbles man. May Rolfert, very strong man, and Rick Plymouth. That is Plymouth won the stage in Oman, if I recall. Yes, he won the Muscat Classic, actually. That was it. Muscat Classic for Plymouth. Yeah. That is, would you say that's a strong team? I'd say that is probably a strong team. Trentin, that could be. If
I don't think it's I think it's a pretty mid team with Trentin as the outright leader. I think they'll have like Blemmers there and probably Leonhardt there as well in support in the later half of the race. But the rest of this team, I think we'll see one of them in the early breakaway as well.
Yeah. Now, the final team of Unibec, Tietma Rockets, that's very cool to see, I think, for many fans of cycling, where they have Artes de Free.
World Tour race.
Yeah, a World Tour race, a classics race. Owen Galian, I can't say that name. How do you say that name?
Galen.
Yeah, I can't say that, and that's unfortunate for me. Axel Horns, Jelle Jonek, and Thomas Kopecky. Many people will know Kopecky, obviously. Lucas Kabis, very strong in recent races. Fives around there in recent races, and Bram Stockman, the only Belgian in that team. What do you think of that team, Bram?
Johannek and Stockman, I want to see them in the breakaway, and I think if they are in there, they can go long. I've seen some. I mean, like this is a team for the breakaway. I think from the group of favorites, I don't think we'll see any of these guys survive, but they have really good breakaway engines, and for me, especially you're running kind of stuff, and those guys can just keep going. And so I think maybe even within the last 40, 50K, could still see them at the front.
Yeah, definitely. Kubis, Kubis has done some very, as I mentioned before, done some nice results this year. But yeah, that's the wrap up of Omloop. Now on to Kuurne-Brussels-Kuurne, which last year was won by Wout van Aert when he attacked from about, when was it, 60 or 50, wasn't it, if I recall, where he attacked from?
A bit more, I think. But yeah, it's maybe
more, yeah.
But yeah, basically Camelberg is what makes him and breaks this race. If they go easy on Camelberg, it's a sprinters classic. If they absolutely send it on Camelberg, which is what we expect, then it can be a very unpredictable race, and it could still all come together and be sprints. It's kind of the beauty of this race where you never know how this race turns out, even though like the last quarter of the race isn't particularly hard. But it's all the fatigue that comes in from. Yeah, it's all just the fatigue that comes in from Camelberg and the hills before that. And then suddenly you have these flat open sections and you still have to have the energy to chase or to open or like sustain your gap that you've opened. And of course last year that was a really strong group that was able to do that with Wout Wellens, was it Loscan, and
might have been also there,
he was there as well, yeah. So that we might see a similar thing take place, but it could also just be a bunch sprint.
Yeah, and with this Melissa bike starting with them, they've added Corey to this roster compared to Omloop Nieuwsblad. So yeah, there's throughout this whole start list is sprinters galore. I think I would say is anyone going to hammer it up? Who would you expect? Which team would hammer it up? I would probably say even Milan's even in this races.
That's what I was gonna mention. The fact that Milan's here, he's not riding Kuurne. He's not riding Omloop. He's gonna be rested. So Milan for me is a fully strong contender for this race. And then the team from Alpecin is also changing a little bit.
Yeah,
A little bit more
the Haas.
lead out power coming in.
The Haas is not really what would I say? Not like he's not got good resistance. I think, in my opinion, and for that under, he got dropped very quickly, and anytime it went uphill. But yeah, Gross or Philipsen, that's a nice thing. But I still, in my opinion, think Merlier and Milan are just a cut above him, and I was even on Milan and Merlier until Merlier did that massive sprint the other day. So yeah,
at the breakwater, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
he has. I think he has a subscription on the win on that sprint. He just knows exactly when to time it. But yeah, for Kuurne, I personally think, considering the names that are here, we'll see a sprint.
yeah, I'd say that as well.
But then again, you have UAE, who is still bringing the war force that probably wants to avoid a sprint at all costs, and maybe wants to avoid a sprint as well. So, and he also, De Lie is not racing this, which I find
That's what I was going
quite
to mention. Yeah, I find that very interesting as well. So this is ordered on Omloop. That's very strange. But then with Unox as well, Christoph is coming in. You know what's going to happen there. And Warren showed 2 strongmen. So yeah, the Q36, both in Moschetti and Parasini. Everyone has probably got a sprinter, I would say, there who wants a sprint, apart from UAE and probably let's say Team Picnic personnel. And
are they not bringing Jakobsen?
I don't know.
no, Jakobsen, yeah, which is even Israel's got Vernon and Hofstetter, Stewart as well. Yeah, so I don't think we're going to see a recreation of last year, in my opinion.
I think that all depends on UAE and what they do on the camel bed.
But then there's going to be 2 people that are going to want to sprint and they're going to chase them.
I mean, that was the case last year as well. There were equal amount of sprinters there last year, but then we're just sprinting for faraway places.
Little bringing
It's going to depend on whether or not like someone like Wout van Aert is going to try and go with them, which he probably will, and then it could still be a reduced group. But I personally still think it will be a group sprint or a peloton sprint.
Yeah, I think so as well. There's just simply too much road for the amount of people that would want to go, I think, in my opinion. Would you also agree there?
I mean, you have the fatigue for quite a few riders from the day before that are not going to be able to put in the chasing effort if a strong group goes. But like I said, I think with Soudal Quickstep, especially, they're bringing they're swapping out a lot of riders in between Omloop and Kuurne, which to me really shows, okay, they want to win Kuurne. So they're just putting a lot of fresh legs at the start of this, and try and keep everything contained. And just looking at the riders, they have Lampaard, who of course does ride Omloop, Reindrink, Svercek, Van Gessel, Van Lerberg, and Van Geluwe. I think 6 out of those are fresh riders, and Merlier, of course. They are there to keep everything together.
All in on
So Merlier can finish it.
And
then of course Merlier against Milan, I don't know anymore. Like, they're so equal.
he couldn't pick. But then also Philipsen on a good day could completely go in and do them as well, which is the sprint field for this race is wow, really. Mayers as well. Mayers could spring surprises as well. Mayers is also a very good sprinter.
Yeah, he keeps it just improving.
And wow,
Honestly. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a sprint. I don't know how much more of Kuurne you want to discuss, but I also think just seeing Taco van der Hoorn again on these types of races, the races that he used to just be so much fun to watch in. I'm also looking forward to that because I think was it 2 years ago in 2023 that he was really good in it. Yeah, he actually was on the break for 170k I just saw and got 4th place. Which, kind of goes to show the rider that Taco van der Hoorn is or was, and I want to see some of that old magic come back that made him so special.
So yeah, Bram, let's now wrap up with your 2 picks for the race started Omloop. And I'll go by mine as well.
I'm gonna go with Arnaud De Lie and Jonathan Milan.
I'm going to go with Jorgensen and then Merlier. No bias involved for me for once.
I'm actually seriously surprised. You could have really gone with Abrahamsen and Christoph, but good on you.
No bias today. Now, we would also like to hear what the viewers think in the comments below if you have listened so far. Let us know on social media or in the YouTube comments. But yeah, that's all we have time for, guys, on this special episode of the Domestique Cycling Podcast. Thank you all for watching from me and Bram and listening as well. And be sure to hit this like button and subscribe if you're on YouTube and like if you're on the podcast platforms. And also, if you are willing, be sure to donate on www.domestiquecycling.com. Thank you and goodbye.
Bye-bye.
I've got the spots, the sickness. There's the twins in my brain.